Alrighty. So this is going to be the last section we're going to do that was connected to your pre-test. So that means that next week you'll have some new content. We're going to go ahead and start with an introduction into algebra. So here we go. So section 5 is about mean, median, and mode. And these are 3 things that are going to follow you through Algebra 1, Pre-Algebra, Algebra 2. If you go on into things like Pre-Cal or Calculus, all of these are common, all 3 of these are common things. It's about data information that you get and being able to find information about this data. So these are the 3 ones that you start with. First, finding the mean. Now the mean is your average, and how you find that is you take whatever data set. This is an example of data set. It's a bit of information that you're given. This is the simplest display you'll get of data set, which is all we're going to work with, and if there's time I'll show you other types of data sets that you can have. But you take the data set and you add all the numbers together and then just divide by however many numbers there are in the data set. Your median, this is the middle. So your median is whatever number is in the middle when you list them from smallest to largest, or the average of numbers, because sometimes you'll have 2 numbers that are in the middle, and you'll just add those together and divide by 2 to find that median. And that's how this one is set up, so that is an example you'll get to see today. And mode, this is the number in the data set that shows up most. This is what is going to happen most often in your data. That is the mode of your data. So let's practice finding those. We only have one example today, and your assignment that goes with this is like 6 problems, so it's super short. So we want to find the mean, median, and mode of the following data set. So let's start with our mean. Remember, this is going to be your average. So we're going to say 10 plus 12 plus 7 plus 11 plus 20 plus 7 plus 8 plus 19 plus 9 plus 5, and we're going to divide all of that by however many numbers there are. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 numbers in this data set. And here's where calculators come in handy, and there's no shame in using calculators when you have to add a whole bunch of numbers together. And they'll let you use calculators when you're dealing with data. So we have 10 plus, hello, plus 12, plus 7, plus 11, plus 20, plus 7, plus 8, plus 19, plus 9, plus 5. I got 108 divided by 10. So our mean is 10.8. And that's how you find mean. Alright, now for median. This is going to be in the middle. Now for us to do this, we need to list our numbers in our data set from smallest to largest. So let me see, our smallest number is 5. And here's what I do once I write them down, I mark them out. That way I don't write them again. Next would be 7s, and there are 2 of them, so you have to write both of them down. And then it would be 8, then 9, then we have a 10, and 11, 12, 19, and a 20. So after you list them from smallest to largest, now you figure out which ones are in the middle. And here's the classic way to do it, okay? All you do is mark out 1 on each side until you get to the middle. Okay, so since there's not a specific middle here, we're working with these 2 numbers. If there was just 1 number in the middle, that would be your median. So let's say there's another number here, you mark out 9 and 10, and say there was like a 9.75 in the middle there, that would be your median. But for this one here, since it's an even set of data, there's an even number, we're going to say, okay, well 9 plus 10 divided by 2, that gives us 19 divided by 2, which is going to give us 9.5, I do believe. Just checking, because my brain is on summer mode still. Yeah. So therefore, our median is 9.5. Now, when you type your answers in on your Google form for you to practice, you just have to type in the number. You don't have to do mean equals blah, blah, blah. You can just write 10.8. Okay. And then our last one, we're going to talk about mode. What happens the most? Now, if there is not a number that shows up more than once, if all of them just all end up showing up just one time, then there is no mode. And you would write no mode, okay? Or no if you want. Otherwise, if there's a number that shows up more than once, whichever one shows up the most is your mode. So 10's only once, 12 is only once, 7 shows up twice. And if I keep looking, I notice 7 is the only one that is showing up twice. So 7 is our mode because it shows up the most. Now, if you might be saying, well, what do we do if there is more than one number that shows up the same amount? Let's say 8 showed up twice as well. Well, your mode would be 7 and 8, okay? All right, you only have 6 questions, but they're broken up into 3 sections. So, like, you'll do the 6 questions and find the mean of them, and then you'll find the mode of them and the median of them. So, it's actually 18 questions, but that's not bad. So, if you have any questions, of course, please feel free to text me.